Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So we gotta talk about the Detroit Pistons. So it seems to be the topic of conversation around NBA YouTube this week, and honestly, this team is on track to have the worst record in NBA history. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but they are really bad. And it's easy to point fingers at the players on this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not shooting the three very well at all. They're dead last in the NBA in three-pointers attempted and three-pointers made and three-point percentage. But I gotta be honest, the guy I'm most, unsatisfied with is gotta be Monty Williams, their head coach. You know, I think going into the season, a lot of people expected them to be a play-in team. Even me, I was kind of like, okay, they got Monty Williams now. Cade Cunningham's gonna be playing this year. They have Jaden Ivey. They have Jalen Duren. They still have Bojan Bogdanovic, right? They have Joe Harris. They have Alec Burks. They got guys on that team that are capable. But the problem is, the way Monty Williams has been running this team is fucking terrible. And he signed a huge contract in the offseason. You know, he came in, and everybody thought because of, the job that he did with the Phoenix Suns, that, success would transfer over to the Detroit Pistons. Now, I will say this. I feel like maybe we all overestimated what their roster is capable of in the offseason, including myself. But the one thing I simply don't understand, and I think a lot of you will agree with me on this, okay, and no disrespect, okay, but I'm gonna be disrespectful. Killian Hayes fucking sucks. Okay, I don't know why Monty Williams insists on playing him so much, but in the two most popular lineups that Monty Williams runs, Killian Hayes is the fucking point guard. And you have Jaden Ivey on your team, who is pretty much better than Killian Hayes at everything except defense, I would assume. You know what I'm saying? I just, if from an outsider on the outside looking in, if I was running that team, Jaden Ivey would be playing point guard. And even then, if, for whatever reason, because I know Monty Williams has his stick up his ass about Jaden Ivey recently, something with, not playing him because of, I don't know, I guess, Jaden Ivey thinks he's better than he is. I don't know, something like that. I don't know why, but he was sitting Jaden Ivey for a while. But the thing is, right, if I were running that team, Jaden Ivey would be starting at point guard, because your future of your franchise is going to be Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, and Jalen Duren, right? And everything else you put around them is just whatever. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Stewart and all this stuff. What happens from that point on is up to the GM and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, this is a team that I'm just they're in no universe that I can think of should Killian Hayes be starting at point guard for them. Killian Hayes is okay defensively, but he's a big reason this team sucks. Okay, he's a big reason they're not winning games. And this team, they have shooters on the team. They have Joe Harris. They have Alec Burks. They have Bojan Bogdanovic. It seems like their offensive strategy at this point is just let Cade cook. That seems to be what their offensive strategy is, and it's not working. I think he's shooting 43% from the field and 23% from three, give or take a couple percentage. But it's just the idea, that's not a recipe to win games. There are people legitimately placing bets right now in parlays for them to not win another game for the rest of the year. And honestly, it's not that far-fetched. If you look at the games that they've won and lost between not only this season, but if we include the end of last season too, out of their last 47 games, they've won fucking 4 of them. That's fucking bad. I think they didn't win a single game throughout the month of November. So, the idea that people are, placing bets that they won't win another game for the rest of the season is really not that far-fetched. They played the fucking Utah Jazz the other night. Lauri Markkanen sat. Jordan Clarkson sat. Taylor Horton-Tucker sat. They had, 6 guys sit against the Detroit Pistons, and the Detroit Pistons still fucking lost. I mean, I think they let Kelly Olynyk go off for 27. It's just, I don't really know what this team can do to fix their situation. The only thing that I could really think of off the top of my head is, if you're gonna be this bad, right, take this time to play Jaden Ivey with Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. Because That's what your future is going to be. Like, everybody knows you're not making the playoffs at this point. Everybody knows you're not even going to get a fucking play-in spot. You are, what, 2-23 or 2-21 or some crazy shit like that? Their record right now, goddamn, it's 2-26. It's way worse than I fucking thought. Holy hell. San Antonio's 4-23. But actually, I don't think I've ever remembered a time in my life where two teams were this bad. I remember I think it was the early right before the 2010s, the Charlotte Bobcats were really bad. They had like a 9-win season, and that was the worst record in NBA history. But the Detroit Pistons are legitimately like on pace to be worse than that. And, I just think if you're a Pistons fan, like, I don't think there's any way you could be justifying what's going on with the Pistons right now. Like, even Asar Thompson, like, for whatever reason, Monty Williams hasn't been playing Asar Thompson recently. And he's the best defender on that team, right? Like, he rebounds the basketball for you. He is a good passer. He's scoring 10 points a game. I'm thinking to myself, why is Monty Williams sending Asar Thompson down to the fucking G League every other game and then bringing him back up? And it's like Asar Thompson is a guy that you should be playing every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, Asar Thompson is very obviously a part of your future, regardless of whatever Gilbert Arenas says. But a big reason why this team is failing is because of its head coach, Monty Williams. And you know what? I've heard things in the past, like DeAndre Ayton didn't like playing for Monty Williams. Monty Williams kind of has a reputation as a coach. He's not exactly a player's coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a guy that's like, it's his way or the highway. And it's just like this team sucks at shooting the three, man. Like, I would argue shooting the three is like their biggest problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, offensively, the idea that they've got like nobody on their team, I think, is shooting the three at 40%. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I look at their roster, I'm pretty positive. Like, there are very few guys on their team shooting, I believe, even 30% from three. Like, even the guys on their team you would expect to be shooters are not shooting well. Actually, Isaiah Stewart's shooting pretty well, 37%, and Kevin Knox is shooting 38% from three, but that's on 2 attempts a game, and Isaiah Stewart is shooting threes at... Why is this... I hate the ads on Basketball Reference, dude. Why do they all gotta be videos? Actually, Isaiah Stewart's shooting 37% on 5 attempts a game, which really isn't bad. But everybody else on this team, like Alec Burks is shooting 33%. Marcus Sasser's shooting pretty well, 42% actually on 3. These are 2-point attempts. Never mind. On 3 attempts a game. So Marcus Sasser, 3 attempts a game. Who else? Where is Isaiah Stewart? 3.5 attempts per game. Kevin Knox, 2.6 attempts a game. So, like, these guys have high shooting percentages from 3, but they're also not taking a whole lot. Bojan Bogdanovic has been pretty good, actually. 40% from 3 on 7 a game. That's pretty good. But Cade Cunningham, 32% from 3. Asar Thompson, 15% from 3. Jalen Duren's not really taking threes at all, so we're not going to worry about him. Jaden Ivey, 28% from 3. Killian Hayes, 30% from 3. Isaiah Livers, 23% from 3. Marvin Bagley, 16% from 3. Kevin Knox and Marcus Sasser are doing pretty well, but they're not shooting a lot. Alec Burks, 33% from 3 on 4.5 attempts. Joe Harris, 29% on 2 attempts, which is insane. I'm actually shocked Joe Harris isn't getting more minutes. He's getting 12 minutes per game. I kind of feel like they should maybe bump that up a little bit. Like, Alec Burks is clearly not bringing it for you. Maybe you try Joe Harris, but this team is simply ass at shooting the three-pointer, and they're not very good defensively either. They let teams get whatever they want against them. They're 26th in the NBA in defensive rating. They're 28th in the NBA in offensive rating. They're actually worse at offense than they are at defense, which is fucking astonishing. They're allowing teams to score 120 points per game, which is 25th out of 30 teams in the NBA, and they are scoring 109 points per game, which is 28th out of 30 teams in the NBA. So, yeah, they got a lot of work to do. But unless Monty Williams changes up his coaching style, I think came out on Twitter the other day that they said, Monty Williams is finally learning, who's good at what and where he can play guys where. But, bro, you didn't learn that in fucking training camp. Like, that's what's astonishing to me. It's like Monty Williams, like, after the fucking season's already over, oh, well, now we know where to play, guys. Like, now we know who's capable of what. Like, you didn't know that going in? You know what I'm saying? You didn't know, like, who's good at what? You know, like, you learn these things in training camp. So, I don't know, man. You know what? Detroit Pistons are a fucking dumpster fire, and they need to get better at shooting the three. Not only in their starting lineups, but in their bench unit as well. They need to play defense better. Monty Williams needs to get his head out of his ass, it seems. So yeah, there's a lot that needs to go on here. But I like, the one thing that's baffling to me is the idea that Killian Hayes is starting over Jaden Ivey. Like, that's baffling to me, because I'm like, Jaden Ivey's really fucking good, and I feel like he's not getting the opportunity he deserves with this team, especially now that you are 2-26. Okay? Like, I don't know why you're playing Killian Hayes. Like, Killian Hayes is not a part of the Detroit Pistons' future. Play fucking Jaden Ivey. Holy shit. I don't know, man. Anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like, helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.